Our land is called Tanah Toraja. It is in the southwest of Sulawesi, but Indonesia has no meaning for us. We are Toraja, which in our language means men with generous hearts. My friends laugh when they call me Neuban, the old man with white hair. I am 63, but I don't feel old. I have no desire to be replaced yet. My life is dedicated to the buffalo. I've raised more than 20. I buy them young and keep them long enough for them to grow and become valuable. We spend our days together, and I am very attached to them. I want them to have a good life and see that they are happy. Their well-being comes before mine. That one is the most expensive of all the buffalo I've raised. He's a bunya with a black body and a white head.
Ta apa kula kumanda tanga lalo pambasai tedong ku tanga di apa tedong ku tiro buda loso ne ta iya lalo pu tiro kadang king lalo ku basai dolo ta iya ku basai pi dolo tu tang di apa ya da ko pokpe mabasai te.
The Toraja would not exist without the buffalo. When the world began, our ancestor came down to earth with a buffalo that walked behind him. It was a long and dangerous journey that brought them here. Ever since, we feel that the dead need a guide to help them find the land of happy souls, and only the buffalo know the way. There is a pact between us and them. We must respect our buffalo, care for them and love them, so that they will agree to be sacrificed when the time comes for them to accompany our soul.
Pakande te tomate sa susi mo to tomasaki ya mo ada atin de Toraja to di pakande tomate te.
A few months ago, my niece died. Today, her embalmed body is as hard as stone, but nobody here thinks of her as dead. Tomasaki, she is ill. We continue to bring her rice and hot tea, and we talk to her. She will truly die when the first buffalo is sacrificed. Only then will her soul leave her body. To honor her, the entire family must attend the funeral. This requires long and precise preparations. Everyone must agree on a date, take the time to gather together, to build temporary houses for the guests who sometimes come from very far away, and assemble the money and the animals needed for the occasion. During this time, we keep her near us. We cannot abandon her. Her disappearance would create a violent emotion, as if an eagle had swooped down and carried her away. By delaying things, we get accustomed to our loss.
Kami tambay.
Death in a Toraja family is cause for great suffering, but also great solidarity. Nevertheless, there is competition among family members at the time of the funeral, since the more buffalo one sacrifices, the more one is showing respect and affection for the deceased, and the more of her wealth one will inherit. Even her children, if they want their mother's inheritance, must sacrifice buffalo. But this rivalry is peaceful. Our dead don't like conflict. And so we often get together to discuss loans, the sale of land, and the purchase of buffalo. And we encourage each other. Like all Toraja, I go to the big city of Rantepao every 6 days for the big buffalo market. We can see and touch the finest beasts in the region. I see my friends there. We discuss, compare, and bargain as well. Today I've come to buy a buffalo that I will offer to my niece. The size, neck muscles, and coat color are the traits by which a buffalo is judged. But above all that, the price is determined by the shape and length of his horns.
Dalu anu le. Dembar itu apa nun? Dembar ketemu-temutungan itu. Ketemu-temutungan. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jari, 4 dengkal, 4 jari. Oh, taluli itu. Ambai bisa jadi kurang apa bah? Tak apa lesut nabi nun le. Dia kepada dia ke talingan. Oh, misa singan le. Cameron, dan dia Cameron. Tak ada sayur na tau ke. Ke tau iya. Tira masuk ya. Labi dia 5. Anu teh kila masuk kala ketela kila annan ni juta lin. Annan pi juta teh tulin tak mera mila kende ke bang nang tole. La kurang ada mera. Annan juta. Lalu aku balik di tunu, semate tuan aku dah sebalik tahu mana temate lah. Lalu balik tahu mana temate le tingkor le tunu. Iya le tunu madako. Ya dako panas. Sabak la kuram pa mulin. Kuram.
The roofs of our houses and rice bins stretch up towards the sky. The Toraja have not forgotten that 3,000 years ago or more, their ancestors came by boat to Sulawesi. These roofs remind us of the shape of our buffalo's horns. Whether carved or drawn, buffalo are everywhere in our houses, or tongkonan. Their image protects the house and brings it strength and wealth. Buffalo have always been symbols of courage, will, and prestige for us. Once a Toraja's wealth was measured by how many buffalo he possessed. In fact, this hasn't changed very much at all. Buffalo are solitary animals, and sometimes even dangerous. They are born suspicious and only obey their master. When they meet one of their own, there is always conflict. Often, however, we organize combats ourselves. They always take place in the rice paddies outside the village, but they are part of the festivities. Funerals are times of rejoicing as well as mourning. I made a bet on my buffalo. I enjoy this, and besides, the combats have a purpose. The bravest buffalo's value increases, as does his master's prestige. The best among them are sacrificed first. This is an honor. My buffalo did well. I'm satisfied with him. The entire village of Labo is decorated in red to welcome the guests. After the combats, the order of slaughter must be established. For that, we meet on the Rante, the site of the sacrifices. It's a very intense moment during which we are proud to present our buffalo to those present and to the person who will be leaving us. The celebration lasts for several days. It is a very important event for our community because it's a chance for us all to get together, even those who now live far from Tanah Toraja in Jakarta, on the island of Borneo, or elsewhere. There is no question of not attending the departure of a soul. What's more, it's a time for exchanging and circulating wealth, which shows just how close the ties are among Toraja. Today, donations will be made to my family in honor of my niece. Buffalo will be offered and sacrificed by friends for her soul's journey. In fact, these donations are investments, since they become our debts. When these friends lose one of their own, we must repay this debt by offering buffalo of equal value. My niece's long agony is over now. The sacrifice of the first buffalo makes the separation of her soul from her body official. It's a moment of suffering, since we know that she is leaving us for good. But there is also joy and relief. She will finally take the road to Puya, the land of happy souls. In Puya, she will live as she did here. She will have a house, clothing, and she will have to eat. That is why we sacrifice buffalo, so that she has a herd of her own in the beyond and a good life. It's sad to give up what is most precious to us, our buffalo, but it's a duty, a question of respect for the deceased. We are all responsible for her soul's journey. If by our fault she does not find the way to Puya because we did not give her enough buffalo, our family will be cursed and shamed. The sacrificial meat is cut as required by the ritual and shared by the family and its guests. There is a very strict order for distributing it. Each person is served on the basis of his relation to the deceased, also taking into account the value and quantity of the donations. I am there to make sure there is no mistake, because each person's prestige is at stake, and that is very important. While the guests, carrying their share of the meat, head for home, we stretch out the hides and dry them. We don't work with the leather. We sell it to Bugis merchants in the southern part of the island. The money enables us to repay some of the debts accumulated during the celebration. After the tension and emotion of this morning on the Rante, we slow down. The burial will take place tomorrow. From this moment on, our minds must be at peace. Only slow, precise work like this can help unclutter our heads.
Dasar. Ya, lagi. Kasih masuk tiang. Ini telap tiang mana? Tar kena pada apa sih di? Apa? Ini pasti ala kula abang ala. Itu lagi kiri. Berapa? Oh. Berapa lagi mau? Ya. Ya, mana mau? Nah. Ya. Manda mereka. Manda mo toke. Lepo patulog ka tulog rek ke pa. Ya, alamnya ano tayo papasila tayo sede.
Our land is full of steep cliffs. There is very little earth for planting, and so we must carve the mountain to make rice, our main culture, grow. The gods gave us rice. It used to grow by itself, but now we must work hard to have a good crop. For us, rice is life. That is why during funerals, it's forbidden to eat any. On the day of the burial, the women of the family do all the mourning to signify their final farewell. Some don't take part in the cortege. You must resign yourself to the separation. Death is not really a tragedy in Tanah Toraja. It's a passage, but certainly not an end. Still, it's very painful for us. The procession accompanying my niece to her final resting place is a joyous one. We run, sing, and stroll in the rice paddies so that she can see the places she loved for the last time. The pallbearers shout and laugh to give themselves courage. Life and death blend together. That's how it is here.
Opi malay kami diterak kena labangan tama lalan, nalotop mulai tolan. Hindi kami tado. Hindi tado.
Here, God the Father is called Puang Matwa, because today almost all of us are Christians. This doesn't, however, prevent us from remaining faithful to our ancestors' religious rites, the Aluk Todolo. Our dead lie in the rock. Tombs are hollowed out on the mountainside in hard-to-reach caves to protect them from animals and thieves. Even today, rich people are buried with gold, and so we want to avoid pillaging. In Toraja tradition, the higher one's social position, the higher up the cliff he is buried. Each family possesses a burial vault that it must be familiar with and keep up so as not to become a topusa, a man astray. My niece's coffin is placed in my family vault because the husband and wife are buried with their respective relatives and never together. Before we began hollowing out the stone, our dead used to lie in coffins resembling hanging boats or erong, which were placed in natural caves to protect them from the rain. Some erong are almost 800 years old. They are still guarded by the Tau Tau, wooden statuettes containing the spirits of the dead and protecting their descendants. We have converted to Christianity. Some of us live far from our native land. We are Indonesians. But as long as we die in Toraja and the buffalo guide our souls to Puya, we will always be Toraja.